Kingdom building and teaching. The top 5 reasons athletes get into scandals. What Warren Sapp said he learned from his coach in Tampa Bay, Tony Dungy at the time. Number one, out past 12 midnight. Number two, driving 15 miles per hour or more over the speed limit. Number three, drugs and guns. Number four, alcohol. And number five, women you know too well or not well enough. I think it relates a lot to the story of Samson, which will be our topic today, the modern day athlete. I want to read a scripture to you, and it says, "And it came to pass when their hearts were merry that they said, Call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport, and they set him between pillars." As in what Warren Sapp was saying, the modern day athlete, the modern day Hebrew athlete, there's a lot of things that get us caught up into so called scandal. We still are dealing with women, and another thing to go along with women that Samson had a lust for or a desire for were foreign women, women that were not of the nation of Israel. Another thing that we deal with is drugs and alcohol. Another one of Samson's desires was alcohol. Another thing that he talked about was driving 15 miles or over the speed limit, breaking the law. Samson breaking the law or breaking Torah. And another thing that plagued Samson uh, was when he cut his hair. He was told not to cut his hair. And in that, that is where he told Delilah that is where his strength lied. But his strength was not in his hair. His strength was from the Most High. The Most High is who gave Samson his strength, not his hair. The source of his strength lied in the Most High. They are trying to take your strength away from you. They wanted to know what your strength is. And what did they do to find out his strength? They used a woman. The woman was still loyal to her people, and she sought out the the uh, the source of his strength, which Samson believed was in his hair, but it was not his hair, it was the Most High. And as soon as he cut his hair, he cut his connection to the Most High. So as we read the story of Samson, I want you to keep these things in mind. That they want us to either be in jail or as entertainment for them. The word sport in Hebrew, uh, I want to I want to dive into that more later on, and I'm going to give you the definition later on. What the word sport in Hebrew means. Just keep that in mind for right now. But today we are going to read the story of Samson, the modern day athlete. Okay, things we want to know about Samson. Samson was born of providence, of special providence, and consecrated at birth. He was born to a woman who was barren. An angel appeared to his mother and told her that she was going to have this baby and that her son was going to be a Nazarite before birth. He was made powerful, given his strength from Yahuwah. And another thing that we know about Samson is he desired foreign women. As we just talked about, Samson was born a Nazarite. Okay. His name, Shimshon, in Hebrew, Strong's 8123, means deliverer of Israel. It is derived from the word Shemesh, Strong's 8121, which means to be brilliant or the sun. All right, because a Nazarite is supposed to be uh, uh, a set apart, is supposed to be set apart and separated, or a devoted one. Let's look more into what a Nazarite is. Let's read uh, Numbers chapter 6. Okay, and it reads, And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of Nazarite, to separate themselves unto Yahuwah. He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dried. All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk. All the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head, until the days be fulfilled in the which he separateth himself unto Yahuwah. He shall be holy, and shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow. All the days that he separateth himself unto Yahuwah, he shall come at no dead body. He shall not make himself unclean for his father, or for his mother, for his brother, or for his sister, when they die, because the consecration of his Elohim is upon his head. All the days of his separation he is holy unto Yahuwah. And if any man die very suddenly by him, and he hath defiled the head of his consecration, then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the seventh day shall he shave it. And on the eighth day he shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons to the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, and make an atonement for him, for that he sinned by the dead, and shall hallow his head that same day. And he shall consecrate unto Yahuwah the days of his separation, and shall bring a lamb of the first year for a trespass offering. But the days that were before shall be lost, because his separation was defiled. And this is the law of the Nazarite. When the days of his separation are fulfilled, he shall be brought unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall offer his offering unto Yahuwah 1 he lamb of the first year without blemish for a burnt offering, and 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish for a sin offering, and 1 ram without blemish for peace offerings, and a basket of unleavened bread, cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, and wafers of unleavened bread anointed with oil, and their meat offering and their drink offerings. And the priest shall bring them before Yahuwah, and shall offer his sin offering and his burnt offering. And he shall offer the ram for a sacrifice of peace offerings unto Yahuwah with the basket of unleavened bread. The priest shall offer also his meat offering and his drink offering. And the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall take the hair of the head of his separation and put it in the fire, which is under the sacrifice of the peace offerings. And the priest shall take the sodden shoulder of the ram and one unleavened cake out of the basket and one unleavened wafer, and shall put them upon the hands of the Nazarite after the hair of his separation is shaven. And the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before Yahuwah. This is holy for the priest with the wave breast and heave shoulder. And after that, the Nazarite may drink wine. This is the law of the Nazarite who hath vowed, and of his offering unto Yahuwah for his separation. Beside that, that his hand shall get, according to the vow which he vowed. So he must do after the law of his separation. So we find out in Numbers chapter 6 that a Nazarite is not allowed to drink wine or have anything to do with grapes, period. He is not to cut his hair, his locks, period. And he is not to touch a dead body, period. So let's go ahead and read the story of Samson. Okay, get a better understanding of Samson. Okay, we'll start with Judges chapter 13, verse 1. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah of the family of the Danaanites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bare not. And the angel of Yahuwah appeared unto the woman, and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive, and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head. For the child shall be a Nazarite unto Elohim from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of Elohim came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of Elohim, very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name. But he said unto me, Behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite to Elohim from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated Yahuwah and said, O Yahuwah, let the man of Elohim which thou didst send come again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born. And Elohim hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of Elohim came again unto the woman as she sat in the field. But Manoah, her husband, was not with her. And the woman made haste and ran and shewed her husband, and said unto him, Behold, the man hath appeared unto me that came unto me the other day. And Manoah arose and went after his wife, and came to the man, and said unto him, Art thou the man that spakest unto the woman? And he said, I am. And Manoah said, Now let thy words come to pass. How shall we order the child, and how shall we do unto him? And the angel of Yahuwah said unto Manoah, of all that I said unto the woman, let her beware. She may not eat of any thing that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I commanded, let her observe. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahuwah, I pray thee, let us detain thee until we shall have made ready a kid for thee. And the angel of Yahuwah said unto Manoah, Thou, though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread. And if thou wilt offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto Yahuwah. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of Yahuwah. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahuwah, What is thy name? That when thy sayings come to pass, we may do thee honor. And the angel of Yahuwah said unto him, Why askest thou thus after my name, seeing it is secret? So Manoah took a kid with a meat offering and offered it upon a rock unto Yahuwah. And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, that the angel of Yahuwah ascended in the flame of the altar. And Manoah and his wife looked on it and fell on their faces to the ground. But the angel of Yahuwah did no more appear to Manoah and to his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was an angel of Yahuwah. And Manoah said unto his wife, We shall surely die, because we have seen Elohim. But his wife said unto him, If Yahuwah were pleased to kill us, he would not have received a burnt offering and a meat offering at our hands, neither would he have shewed us all these things, nor would as at this time have told us such things as these. And the woman bare a son, and called his name Samson. And the child grew, and Yahuwah blessed him. And the spirit of Yahuwah began to move him at times in the camp of Dan, between Zorah and Eshtaol. We're at Judges chapter 14. And Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of Yahuwah that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. Then went Samson down, and his father and his mother sold Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath. And behold, a young lion roared against him. And the spirit of Yahuwah came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hand, but he told not his father or his mother what he had done. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. And after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. And behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hands, and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he told not them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. So his father went down unto the woman, and Samson made there a feast, for so used the young men to do. And it came to pass, when they saw him, that they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If ye can certainly declare it me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. But if ye cannot declare it me, then shall ye give me 30 sheets and a 30 change of garments. And they said unto him, Put forth thy riddle, that we may hear it. And he said unto them, Out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson's wife, Entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have ye called us to take that we have? Is it not so? And Samson's wife wept before him, and said, Thou dost but hate me, and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it to me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother, and shall I tell it thee? And she wept before him the 7 days, while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day, before the sun went down, What is sweeter than honey? And what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, If ye had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle. And the spirit of Yahuwah came upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon, and slew 30 men of them, and took their spoil, and gave change of garments unto which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house. But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend. All right, let's go to Judges chapter 15. But it came to pass within a while after, in the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid. And he said, I will go in to my wife into the chamber. But her father would not suffer him to go in. And her father said, I verily thought that thou hadst utterly hated her. Therefore I gave her to thy companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her. And Samson said concerning them, Now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure? And Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and took firebrands, and turned tail to tail, and put a firebrand in the midst between two tails. And when he had set the brands on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines, and burnt up both the shocks and also the standing corn, with the vineyards and olives. Then the Philistines said, Who hath done this? And they answered, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timonite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion. And the Philistines came up and burned her and her father with fire. And Samson said unto them, Though ye have done this, Yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease. And he smote them hip and thigh with a great slaughter. And he went down and dwelt in the top of the rock of Etam. Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah, and spread themselves in Lehi. And the men of Judah said, Why are ye come up against us? And they answered, To bind Samson. Are we come up to do to him as he hath done to us? Then 3,000 men of Judah went to the top of the rock of Etam, and said to Samson, Knowest thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? What is this that thou hast done unto us? And he said unto them, As they did unto me, so have I done unto them. And they said unto him, We are come down to bind thee, that we may deliver thee into the hand of the Philistines. And Samson said unto them, Swear unto me that ye will not fall upon me yourselves. And they spake unto him, saying, No, but we will bind thee fast, and deliver thee into their hand. But surely we will not kill thee. And they bound him with 2 new cords, and brought him up from the rock. And when he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him, and the spirit of Yahuwah came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arms became as flax that was burnt with fire, and his bands loosed from off his hands. And he found a new jawbone of a donkey, and put forth his hand, and took it, and slew 1,000 men therewith. And Samson said, With the jawbone of a donkey, heaps upon heaps, with the jaw of a donkey, have I slain 1,000 men. And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand, and called that place Ramalethia. And he was sore athirst, and called unto Yahuwah, and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance into thy hand of thy servant. And now shall I die for thirst, and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised? But Elohim clave an hollow place that was in the jaw, and there came water thereout. And when he had drunk, his spirit came again, and he revived. Wherefore he called the name thereof Enhakkor, which is in Lehi unto this day. And he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. Judges chapter 16. Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her. And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, In the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. And Samson lay till midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gate of the city, and the 2 posts, and went away with them bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of an hill that is before Hebron. And it came to pass afterward, that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the masters of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her, Entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him. that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said to Samson, Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee. And Samson said unto her, If they bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Then the masters of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto them, The Philistines be upon us, Samson. And he brake with the withs, as a thread of tow is broken when it is toucheth the fire. So his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Samson, Behold, thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, If they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak, and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes, and bound him therewith, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait abiding in the chamber, and he brake them from off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said unto Samson, Hitherto thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, If thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with the pin, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon me, be upon thee, Samson. And he awaked out of his sleep, and went away with the pin of the beam, and with the web. And she said unto him, How canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass, when she dressed him daily with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, There hath not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto Elohim from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak, and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the masters of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he hath shewed me all his heart. Then the masters of the Philistines came up unto her, and brought money in their hand. And she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head, and she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. And she said, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep, and said, I will go out as at other times before, and shake myself. And he wist not that Yahuwah was departed from him. But the Philistines took him, and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass. And he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaved. Mm-mm-mm. I just want to read something else to you guys that just hit me, and just How is it with these athletes nowadays that these women are able to just gain access to their heart, control their mind, and get them to do things, persuading them to do things, getting persuading them, and then if they don't follow, then now you see where the true loyalty of these women lie, you know. And us just read this again. I just want to read chapters, Judges 16. Uh, let's go back to 16 and 15. And she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. See, they want to find out, where is the strength? Where do you get your power from? And a lot of times we don't know. We think that we're getting our power from us. No, our power, our gifts are coming down from the Most High. He is the one who's given us the strength. And they've tried to take this power and this strength and these gifts we have away from us by taking him away from us. And it says in verse 16, and it came to pass when she pressed him daily. So she keeps on. She keeps on. She's not giving up with this. She's made it her cause to find out what his strength is with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death. Wow. So then it says in 17 that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, there hath not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto Elohim from my mother's womb. So since Samson had been alive even before he was born, the Most High was with Samson. So he has had this power, this strength on him since before birth. So the Most High had been with Samson his whole life. But as soon as Samson cut his hair, cut his connection to the Most High, he lost all strength. Let's go on and start and read about the end of this story in verse 23, Judges 16, verse 23. Then the masters of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon, their mighty one, and to rejoice. For they said, our mighty one hath delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hand. And when the people saw him, they praised their mighty one, for they said, our mighty one hath delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. So they're already celebrating. They've gave praise to their mighty one. And it came to pass when their hearts were merry that they said, call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport, and they set him between the pillars. The word sport in Hebrew is sakak. It means to deride, laugh at, or mock. That is what the word sport means in Hebrew. To laugh at, to mock. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the masters of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto Yahuwah and said, O my sovereign Yahuwah, remember me, I pray thee. and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O Elohim, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my two eyes. And Samson took hold of the two middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand, and of the other with his left. And Samson said, Let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the masters, and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the burying place of Manoah his father. And he judged Israel 20 years. That's the story of Samson. And I believe that this story has a lot to do with the modern day athlete. Has to do with a lot of the same issues the modern day athlete and those professional athletes that are playing sport are dealing with. Dealing with drugs and alcohol, dealing with women, and dealing with not knowing where they get their strength from, which is the Most High. And not having Him as part of how they're living their lives makes it so that they are making decisions not based on the instruction that the Most High has given us, which is Torah. And if a lot of these athletes nowadays were living their lives according to Torah, they would not be getting influenced by women, by drugs and alcohol, and by other bad decisions they've made, along the way. So that's the story of Samson. That is my correlation between both today's modern day athlete and uh, the the story of Samson. At this time, I'd like to say a prayer uh, for for today's athlete. Dear Abba Yahuwah, I want to ask that you just look down upon today's athlete, that we understand where we are getting these gifts, getting our strength, getting our power from. Abba, I ask that you allow these athletes to understand that they are more than just sport. They are children of the Most High, and that they can still do all things through you. I ask that their judgments be based upon the instruction of Torah, that they understand you have already given them a playbook, that they don't need the modern day playbook, that you have already given them their head coach, that you have already given them everything that they need, Abba Yahuwah, that the worldly things that they are being enticed with are not what they need, but what they need is your leadership, Abba Yahuwah. And I ask that you continue to just forgive that you continue to just restore our people and let them know that with you, through you, and in you lies all that we need, all the power, all the strength, all the love, everything we need, we can find in you. And I ask that we just turn back to your instruction, your Torah, and that we live our life according to how you have laid out the game plan for us. In your son's name, Yahushua Mashiach, I say, Amen. Thank you guys for tuning in to Kingdom Building and Teaching. Please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time for the next lesson that we